I think we're going to entitle this video The Almighties. So we're going to be taking looks at two movies that are, basically made by the same people, um, but they have two different storylines. First one is Bruce Almighty. Bruce Almighty is played by Jim Carrey, and he's this, small-time reporter who hasn't really had the shot at the big, seat, and he wants to go far in his life, and he feels stuck, like he's in a rut. And Evan Almighty is about, you know, this guy who worked at the same news channel company or whatever you want to call it as Bruce. He ends up becoming a senator, and he asks God to help him change the world, and it's all about, the lesson of how do you change the world. So we're going to take a closer look at Bruce first, and then we're going to get into Evan. So, shall we begin? So, the beginning of Bruce, you see his life and you see his just overall sarcastic nature towards his life, and you can tell that he's not happy. And he ends up, praying to God, asking for a sign, begging him to make his life better. And God responds, and he sends these mini, micro signs, and eventually he follows those clues to God, and they have this moment of confrontation where Evan's arguing with God, and he doesn't believe that, God is talking to him. He believes that this is some crazy person. But, Evan leaves that confrontation, and he starts to notice these small things that, are very rare and unusual. And eventually you realize that God gave him the job. It's now up to Bruce to hear the prayers of all of God's children, to, answer those prayers, to make the world a better place. And what he does is he makes his life a better thing. I mean, he makes it to where Evan loses his job so that he can take the seat that he wanted in the channel, so he could be one of the main news reporters, and he gets a big place. He's living a very fancy life by, the middle of the movie. And, somewhere along the lines, he loses track of what was important to him in the first place, and he loses his girlfriend. And, he ends up going through all this crap, begging God to take the job away, and he gets ran over by a truck. And he survives it, and he wakes up, and the powers are gone. His girlfriend's there. She loves him. That doesn't change at all during the movie. But, he is able to see that, you can't ask God to change your life for you. You have to make the changes yourself. And sometimes, when we pray, we're asking for a lot, and we offer very little in return. So it's about, when you pray, accept that, he can only give you the opportunities. You have to take them. And it goes into Evan Almighty, and that's something that's, really hammered in, that, when you pray for your family to get closer, God gives you the opportunity to bring your family together. He can't, he doesn't just snap his fingers and make your family closer. He gives you the opportunity. When you ask for courage, He gives you an opportunity to, fight through your fear and do something that you never thought would be possible. When you ask for love in your life, God doesn't just snap His fingers and bring, some hot model into your life so you can just have the dream. He gives you an opportunity to meet someone who can be very good and, help your life. And, Evan, he's the modern day Noah. He's the senator just in from New York, and, one of the main senators gives him this opportunity to co-sign a bill. And during this, period of them trying to get him to sign off on this bill, God speaks to him and He wants him to build an ark. Now, there's a little difference in the spelling. When we're talking about the boat kind of ark, it's A-R-C. When we're talking about the acronym that is ended up used, it's A-R-K. And what I'm talking about here is, how do we change the world? Well, you do it by actions of random kindness. That's actually what it is. But, ark, it's kind of funny. They made it work. And, I think that it speaks very clearly the messages that God is trying to give us constantly. And I know that, when I pray for, courage and wisdom and strength, God gives me the opportunities, but I'm too busy wanting Him to just hand it to me that I don't take those. And we all have a little bit of that. We'd rather have everything handed to us than work for it. And a lot of times that can mean, that we lose faith because it's not just handed to us. And I really want you guys to think about this. And heck, if you haven't seen these movies, go and watch them. They're funny, they have good messages, and I mean, it's a family-friendly movie. Instead of looking for, oh, that was, snap of a finger and I'm more courageous, I'm more loving towards others, try to see the opportunities God has given you. That's something that, I as a person have to work on constantly. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.